afternoon, everybody. It's Billy the Crafty Floridian, and it's raining outside like we don't have enough rain or water in our area. But it's kind of a quiet, dark day, or afternoon. The sun was shining up till a few minutes ago, and I couldn't decide whether to stay in there and work on some blankets or come in here and do a few videos that I had promised, or I said that I was going to try to do. I don't know if I promised or not, but I do. So this is just sort of a little U.S. government 101. We used to have that in high school. In high school, we had government, U.S. history, we had civics, we had all. I guess that's why we knew so much about the workings of the government in our country and how it's set up, how the U.S. Constitution set it up. So I've taken some notes. I got them on little cards here, just as a backup in case my brain doesn't work well. Okay, the U.S. Constitution sets up three branches of government. One is the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judiciary branch. And they're all set up to as backup to each other. We don't have a dictatorship. We have states. States are governed within each other. In other words, every state governs themselves. And then you have the federal, and they govern the legislative branch, and they govern the whole. In the legislative branch, there's Congress. And Congress is made up of two chambers. And the chambers are the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. The U.S. Senate is made up of two individuals that are voted on by each state. And each state is represented by two senators, which makes it a total of 100 senators in the chamber. Okay? Then the House of Representatives is made up of 435 congressmen and congresswomen. These are voted on also by each individual state. So when you go to the to vote, you vote for your senator, for your House of Representatives, and your president. Now, the Senate is a 6-year term. So when you vote for a senator, they will be there for 6 years. The House of Representatives, when you vote them in, is for 2 years. Now, they're not all in the House of Representatives, they're not all voted in at the same time. They're staggered out. So, and I think it's the same with the Senate. I think so. I can't remember. Let's check. Senate. Yeah. Okay. Okay. 1/3, I thought I'd written this down. 1/3 of the Senate will be up for re-election at any one time. Okay, and that's a 6-year term. Okie dokie. Now, you're saying, now what do they do? Okay, here's what they do. The legislative branch is to introduce bills to be voted on, to be researched, to be investigated by committees. So I will give you this little thing about myself is that I worked for a company for almost 25 years. And what we did is we developed a software package for the House of Representatives. That was our first step. And what we did is the software package was there for, say, I sent a letter to my congressman and it was about gun control, okay? And I'm raising hell about gun control, right? So what happens is in this program, my letter will be put into this program, and it would come under a file called guns or gun control. The same thing with if people were economic problems, they would come in and that would be filed in the computer under that. That way, when there's anything introduced in the House of Representatives or a letter will go out to those people that have submitted um, letters or requests to the House of Representatives. You, as a layman, can go to your congressman or write your congressman, and he can, if it's an issue of merit, he can submit what you did to the House of Representatives. And when they develop a bill, which can be written by one congressman or five congressmen or six congressmen, then that bill is sent to a committee. It could be Committee on Ways and Means, Committee on Health, all kinds of issues. There are lots of committees. And then there's subcommittees to the committees. Mostly the subcommittees do a lot of the research. And then that's submitted to the committee. And they separate fact from falsehoods. Okay? And then they put the bill together. After that bill is then ready, it goes to the chamber, to the House of Representatives chamber, and it's voted on. If it passes, it will then go to the Senate. The Senate is like the checkmate. They're the ones that decide if this should be, if it's voted on by them. They have committees also. And if they vote on it, then it will then go to the President of the United States, and he can vote on it. I mean, he could sign it, or he could veto it. Okay? The Senate can then not send it to the President. He could send that bill back to the House of Representatives saying, hey, listen, these are the things that we need changed. We like the bill, but we don't like A.2 or A.3 or whatever. Negotiate that. We'll negotiate with that. Then it will go back to the House of Representatives for vote, to the chamber. Then it would be moved back to the Senate. And then if the Senate approves it, then it will go to the President for signature. Now, if he vetoes it, it goes back again. So they can override the President. They can vote it in as a bill if it goes through the process several times. Now that's the way I understand it. I might be wrong, but I've read up on this pretty well. So the software package that we wrote or that we presented to the House of Representatives, we also eventually went into the Senate. We went into the White House, and the software went through different agencies, Department of Agriculture. And then it went to the states. So this was a really a package to follow your constituents and to keep up with the issues that your constituents are concerned about. That's where I came from. And I saw it develop over the 25 years, and it was still going strong when I retired. And I think I went through 3 or 4 buyouts, and then there was a buyout after I left, and it went to Lockheed Martin, and that's where it ended up. Our company, what was left of it, and so anyway, that's kind of like the process of the House of Representatives. House of Representatives can't vote on something and it not go through the Senate. Everything goes through the Senate. Okay. The House also can start. They start the bills. They also can impeach civil officers. Start the impeachment for civil officers. Um, they um, now once the House of Representatives votes on impeachment of a president or um, any kind of a civil official, it will then go to the Senate, and the Senate can try the case. In other words, whoever that civil person is, they would have their attorneys, and then the Senate has their attorneys. So they're the triers, and then the House of Representatives is like the cops. Okay, the cops. Then it, um, they say the cops and the AGs and all that. They come up with who it is and that they're to be impeached. Then it goes to the Senate. The Senate will um, do the trial on the impeachment. Also, the Senate approves federal judges, the cabinet members, the ambassadors. The president appoints them, but they have to go through the approval of the Senate. The House of Representatives doesn't have anything to do with that. And the civilian employees of government, the Senate approves. So, so that's basically the Senate has. Okay. Now I want to point out while we're with Congress, let me point out something to you. If if you're if you're voted, say you have voted in a Republican president, and say that you have the majority and you have the minority in House of Representatives and in the Senate. The majority, say the Senate has as a 435, just for instance, say there was 400 Republicans, 35 Democrats. The Republicans would be um, the majority leader of Congress. They will then pick their own committees, and then they will. The majority leader has a majority chairman of each of these committees, and then they get to pick who from the Democrats and from the Senate who's going to be on these committees. Because there's like the Judiciary Committee. They're basically deal with the laws and different laws of the that come through the House of Representatives and stuff like that. Um, so the majority leader, he's the one that sits there and controls that committee. Um, so if you have a Republican president, and let's say you have a Republican House of Representatives and a Republican majority in the Senate, you got it. You got it. You there's nothing that you can't pass. There shouldn't be anything that you can't pass. If you've got the majority, all Republicans, then the president has his people talk to those Republicans to vote on this particular. And if you've noticed in the past that things that go through, the Republicans can kind of hold back on certain bills. For instance, there was a bill that was presented to the House of Representatives about building a wall um, in the southern part of our country. And it went to the House of Representatives, but it didn't pass. And the majority leader is the Republicans. The Republicans voted against it. So it got nowhere. It's still sitting in a committee somewhere. So these are kind of the ins and outs of what happens. It's like the President of the United States, I will tell you what his job is, and he falls under the executive branch. So we have the legislative branch, which is the House of Representatives, Congress, and the Senate. Then we move on to the executive branch. The executive branch is the president, the cabinet members, ambassadors, and all that good stuff. Now, here's what the president can do. He can make treaties with the Senate approval. So if you make a treaty with a country, then it goes to the Senate. And if you have a Republican Senate, they can vote on it and approve of that treaty. But treaties have to go through the Senate, whether it's a Republican or a Democratic majority leader. They can veto bills and sign bills. They represent USA in talks with foreign agencies, foreign countries. They enforce laws Congress passed. They act during war as the commander-in-chief. They could call troops to protect us in a war. Make suggestions about things that should be new laws. So they can make suggestions to the Congress or whatever, and then it goes through the process. And he leads his political party. He entertains foreign guests, recognize foreign countries, grant pardons, nominate cabinets, Supreme Court justices, and other high officials. They have to be approved by the Senate. Appoint ambassadors, talk directly to people about problems, and represent the best interests of all people. Now, what the president can't do is he can't make laws. He can't declare war. He has to go through Congress or through the Senate. How federal money is spent, interpret laws. Senate needs to approve cabinets and Supreme Court justices. The president writes budget, must get Congress approval. You've heard, I know you hear on news that September the 30th is the end of the fiscal year for the U.S. government. And they say, oh, the budget hasn't been approved, so we might not be able to pay people and shut down Congress, shut down the government and all that stuff. And that's what that's all about. Works closely with Congress to get laws passed or rejected. Past presidents work with Congress on trying to get certain laws passed and not passed. So it can go either way. Now, the judiciary branch consists of the Supreme Court and lower courts, and there's 9 justices. And the president, the current president, is the one, if a justice steps down or he passes away or whatever, then it's up to the president to choose a new justice, and then it has to be approved by Congress. The judiciary, I have trouble rolling that out. Issues related to constitutions. Each state has lower courts to hear issues of on the federal level. So, really, the judiciary branch honors the Constitution, and that is their guide as far as where they stand. Okay, now, here's the one thing that drives me crazy, and that's the Electoral College system. And what it is that we have the popular vote. Okay, we vote. And then each state has electoral, they have electors. Okay, like the state of Florida has 40, no, 30. We have 30 votes, 30 electoral votes, my state. And what it consists of is the two senators, and then we have 28 representatives. So that gives us 30 electoral votes. And I believe the way I understand it is maybe the electoral votes are basically determined on how the popular vote was. Now, I don't know how that all works, but you can ask questions, but look it up because I don't have the answer. What I'm telling you now is all I really know. And hopefully this is going to help, maybe if you're not from our country, to help you understand it a little better. Now, the state of California has 54. So they have 2 senators and then 52 of the are representatives. So have 52 House of Representatives. Now, those are some of the biggest states: Florida, California, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Texas, New York, North Carolina, Illinois. And that's why you'll see a lot of congressmen, a lot of incumbent presidents will go to these states to have all kinds of meetings and, have speeches and trying to get as many votes as they can, is because these of the electoral college system that they have set up. There has been talk in the past, even when I was more active in it, that they were going to see about getting, voting out the electoral college. But they keep, I don't know, it's checks and balances. They tried the when it was written, the Constitution was written, it was mostly to keep everything from being a dictatorship. So that's the way it goes. Now, I had pulled, let's see, is this? Okay, so let's see if I got this right. Right now, in 2024, the House of Representatives, the majority leader is the Republicans. But in the Senate, it's the Democrats. Democrats have 51 senators, Republicans have 49. And in the House of Representatives, the Republicans have 220, Democrats 212. So that's why you look at those numbers, because the majority, whoever wins that chamber, is the majority leader. And then that majority leader is the one that chooses people for the different committees and all that stuff, and also picks the Speaker of the House. So if you have a majority Republicans, then the Republicans will pick a Speaker of the House. And I didn't get into the Speaker of the House too much, but I did get into a little bit of the Vice President. Let me see where I put it. The Vice President doesn't really have, well, I don't know what I did with it.
But I'll tell you what I know. I thought I wrote some of it down. The vice president is really a backup in case the president of the United States is assassinated or he passes away doing service, doing his 4 year service. Um, they also are the president of the Senate, and they don't vote in the Senate, but they vote for a tiebreaker. So say you got 50-50 vote, the vice president comes in and she breaks or he breaks that tie. That's the only authorities that they have really, except for what the president assigns them to do. Like, let's see, I think I don't know if this is correct, but in 1921, Biden had Kamala Harris go down um, to the border to check out, to do whatever she would do or whatever he needed her to do. And I think she does a lot of traveling to foreign countries and stuff like that. It's sort of like here we are, we're still viable. United States, welcomes you and all that good stuff. So basically, way back, I guess Kennedy. I was born during Roosevelt. He served. I think he served 10 or 12 years, and after he served, they changed and made a bill saying that a president could only serve 8 years. They could be consecutive or not consecutive. Um, there are a few presidents during my time that didn't serve for 8 years consecutive. Um, Carter only served 4 years. And my best friend that I grew up with in elementary school and high school and afterwards, and I was with her when she passed away, she worked as an assistant to Jimmy Carter. She loved working for him. It was a great experience for her, but she was only there for 4 years, and but she stayed with the government after that. But yeah, so I have a little bit of his and President Kennedy. Um, God, he was beautiful, and we went to several things on the White House um, when I was in high school, and also we my choir sung in the rotunda in the Congress. We went to the White House several times. I've gone through their Christmas. They have a VIP Christmas tour every year, or they used to. I don't know if they quit that, if they're still doing it or not. But I went through that several times. And but yeah, 1963. Sad, 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 sad. So anyway, so yeah, so it's been politics is a mess. It's something that people don't want to talk about. They get very adamant about how they feel. I know that feel a little this, a little that. I was a liberal. I mean, I was a liberal for a long time, and I just voted for whomever. I'm still that way. I voted for Bush. Um, who else? I voted. I'm trying to think. I voted for Bush. God, I can't even remember the presidents anymore. Gosh, I did vote for Bill Clinton. Yes, I did. I think I did, or did I? I think I did. I can't remember. Geez, it's how I felt about the person, whether they would make a good president and whether they, even though I might not like them, would they make the best decisions for us as a country than the other candidate? And that's what I base everything on. Not everything, but it's a start. So I was just going to make that 30 minutes, and I'm going to wind it up. I was going to. There were some Democratic. Well, I think it was. Was it who was it? I think it was Obama when he was president. He had a re. Let's see. He had a Republican Senate majority leader. He had a lot of trouble getting the stuff through, but anyway, it just you got to, and I hope you, when you vote for your representatives, you want to vote for someone that's going to look after your best interests, um, and know the issues that they represent and how they. I think America should. I think the people here in the United States, us, we should be number one in the polling of these issues. I mean, we've got to take care of our own. We've got a lot of tragedy in the United States right now. We have got to take care of each other. So I pray that all of you vote. I hope you will register to vote. I'm registered. I'm by mail because I can't stand in line. But I registered by mail, and for whomever I want to vote for. And that's what's nice. You can vote for whoever you want to. It doesn't matter what party that you might be registered under. So you vote for whoever you want. And that's what's important. I know that the state of Florida is a Republican state, meaning we have a Republican governor, and then they have their uh, legislative branch or their house, and their house is made up kind of like the uh, Congress is. So, and that's how their bills are, are appropriated also. Now, I really haven't read up that much on the state government, but that will be my next thing to refresh, to do a refresh. If you have any questions, don't ask me. I've told you what I know, and I would advise if you have a question, and you do like I do, I go into Google and I say what da 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 da, and they'll give you an answer, and then more than that, they'll give you an answer to another question that you thought you should have asked, about that question. So go to Google if you have a question, ask, and I hopefully you're all registered and ready to vote. So that's my spill. That's one of my crafts. So I hope this enlighten you a little bit. This is just a quick and easy little tell all of what I know, and it's not much. I'll tell you, it's not much, but give it a try and see. I hope it helped a little bit just to understand how all this works. Okie dokie, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm either going to go crochet or sew. I might do both. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you later. And if you don't, don't worry if you don't like this thing. I just thought I'd put it out there. What the heck? What have I got to lose, right? I'm not up for president. Okay, everybody. Good day. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.